Denver, Colorado monthly housing report as of July 23rd, 2022. This is your July Denver real estate update. My name is Dan Max at eXp Realty, aka the Trading Agent, and I wanted to go over some of the data going on with Denver County. As you can tell, it looks like the statistics in housing are slowing on a national level, but I want to speak about what's going on here in Denver. We are actually have less listings, active and pending listings, new listings compared to last summer. It seems to be slowing, but we are seeing things that are dynamic with the price, and I want to talk about that near term and possibly the outlook going forward. So, as you can tell just from this specific data on Denver County, the listing numbers are down. The days in MLS are short still. Price is still up year over year, but people, I don't think, realize that most of the biggest price increase for Denver actually happened in the first quarter of this year. It was pretty hectic. I saw prices going 100,000 over, so somewhere in the 10 to 15% range is what housing appreciated in the spring of the year. Now it seems that we were flattening off, and prices are actually going at ask, sometimes above, sometimes below. But one of the things I want to talk about is single family housing and the different types of housing versus the price points. So one of the things that you're noticing is that it looks like all median prices are rising, right? That to me seems obvious if you do median. However, I want people to be aware of the high end in housing, because this is what I'm starting to see. I know this looks like it's going higher. I would say at this point, the average price point in Denver is around mid 800,000s. But one of the things that people need to pay attention to is the high end townhouses are dropping pretty quickly. And why is that? Because they're typically rental investment properties. Condominium prices have stabilized. I always tell people this: the first way to know that you're actually going into somewhat of a housing, I'd say, correction. I wouldn't say a recession or depression, because again, there's just still too many dynamics. There's 10 million people that are moving here in the next 10 years projected, and that kind of demand long term is just going to continue to push prices higher, especially in the metro Denver area, because there's just not there's nowhere else you can build. But I want to talk about the higher end stuff, because that's where most of the investors, I wouldn't say investor, well, it's more people who are probably likely to sell properties that they had big gains on. So think of it from this perspective: people who locked in interest rates in 3.25 and a lower are probably not selling. What I'm seeing a lot of, and what I'm talking to, a lot of the folks on the street, it seems more that the investors that had big gains are starting to take their profits. They're more worried about a recession. When are they going to be able to get out of their house or out of the investment? And they're not really sure what they're going to do with the cash. A lot of this is scared money. So the average person, think about it. If you have such a great interest rate and now they're at 5% change, you're probably not selling. So it might lead to an even tighter market, and all you're going to see is investors unloading. Now, again, obviously there's going to be exceptions. People need to move, change job, don't like the area, it's too expensive. But on a percentage basis, I'm seeing more investors starting to flip, and that's where you're getting the high-end townhouse, condos, even single-family housing starting to stabilize. If you start looking at the price points, especially in the mid price point for Denver, you're definitely seeing the flattening of the prices. You can see it. The condo and the townhouses, I mean, it's interesting how the condos have been stable, but the townhouses have been coming down. And what I've told people this: anything under 300,000 is not going to drop in price that significantly. You're going to see it everywhere. I know you can see some of the single family housing, but that's $4,000. That's percentage wise, do that. I mean, it's basically 1-2%. So I hope this kind of stuff helps. Just be aware that the market is changing. It is becoming more of a, I'd say, market of equilibrium. You have buyers and sellers, because keep in mind, you still have a ton of people trying to move here, but you definitely have people who are looking to take gains on their profits, because there's tons of investors in Denver. I mean, I think at one point earlier last year, 70% of the buys were made by investors. I know BlackRock is heavily investing here. So point being, some of these folks might be looking to flip some of their properties for big gains. If you think about in the last 5 years, the average house probably has, 5 to 7 years up anywhere between 50% to 100%. Those are big gains that people are trying to take. And if they think the tax laws are going to change in the future, they might be trying to get out now. Anyway, hope this helps. Again, if you have any questions about real estate in general, please don't hesitate to reach out. I can help out in any part of the country. I love advising on this stuff. Again, I pay attention to it, and one of the things that I love to express upon other people is that again, if you're ever doing a real estate transaction, working with a friend or family member sometimes isn't the best deal. Extend working with friends and family and business is not always ideal. Let a professional help you out. Again, if you're actually having any issues with, say, health, you need an attorney, need anybody associated with a service, you wouldn't do a discount or use a friend just because they knew what they're doing. You usually would go with the best. If I can help you, I'd love to. Again, check out my information. Link is in the description below. Have a great day.